Some evenings feel heavier than others, not because of what happened that day, but because of what's been slowly building up inside us. Unspoken fatigue, quiet discomfort, or a pressure in the chest we'd rather ignore. At 70, 80, or even beyond, we don't always admit it, but we start to feel more cautious, more aware. Aware of the irregular heartbeat after a rich dinner. Aware of how breathless we get walking up the stairs after a big meal. Aware that the choices we've made on our plates over the years are catching up with us, one silent heartbeat at a time. You might think it's too late to change, or that eating for heart health means giving up flavor, tradition, and comfort. But let me tell you something I learned. Not from books, but from the quiet revelations that come when you sit alone at your kitchen table, fork in hand, staring at the same foods you've always eaten, and wondering if they're still serving you. The truth is, our hearts don't ask for perfection. They ask for kindness. And one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves, especially after 70, is to rethink what we put on our plates each evening. Dinner isn't just about filling your stomach. At this stage of life, it's about nourishing your heart, your circulation, your sleep, your energy, and your peace of mind. And the best part? It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need fancy recipes, exotic ingredients, or strict diets. Just a few simple dinners, warm, gentle, and balanced, that speak to your body's needs today. Meals that help regulate blood pressure, reduce inflammation, lower bad cholesterol, and ease the burden on your heart without sacrificing satisfaction. In this video, I'll walk with you through 5 of the most heart-friendly dinners you can make at home, even if cooking isn't your favorite thing anymore. These are meals I've turned to on evenings when my energy was low, but my heart needed something real. Meals that offer calm instead of chaos, and that over time quietly change how your body feels, from the inside out. So if your evenings have felt heavy lately, if your heart's been whispering for a gentler rhythm, stay with me. Let's open your kitchen to a few new possibilities. Meals that don't just support heart health, but honor the season of life you're in. Because you deserve to eat in a way that gives more than it takes. And your heart, your beautiful, resilient heart, deserves to feel held, not harmed. Let's begin with a dinner that surprised me with its simplicity and its power. On one quiet evening, when I had little appetite and even less energy to cook, I tried something I'd usually save for breakfast. A warm bowl of savory oatmeal, topped with gently baked salmon and a handful of sautéed greens. I didn't expect much, but that dinner changed something in me. You see, oats are more than just a morning food. Especially for those of us in our 70s and beyond, oats can be a gentle ally for the heart. Rich in soluble fiber, they help reduce LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol that clings to our arteries and wears our hearts down with time. That same fiber slows down digestion, keeping blood sugar stable and preventing those energy crashes that make evenings feel heavier than they should. But the oats alone aren't the full story. The baked salmon, soft and tender, brings omega-3 fatty acids into the picture. Those healthy fats we often hear about, but don't always know how to work into our meals. These fats are like a balm for the heart. They reduce inflammation in the blood vessels, support smoother circulation, and have even been shown to lower the risk of irregular heart rhythms. After 70, when our arteries have seen decades of life and wear, we need that kind of support more than ever. Then come the greens, whether it's spinach, kale, or even just steamed broccoli. Adding greens to this bowl isn't just about color, it's about care. Leafy greens bring magnesium, potassium, and nitrates that help relax the blood vessels and regulate blood pressure. I didn't realize it at the time, but that small bowl had become a trio of quiet protection. Oats to absorb the bad, salmon to soothe the vessel walls, and greens to ease the flow. And most important of all, it was easy. No hours of chopping, no complicated seasoning. Just a pot, an oven tray, and a few kind ingredients brought together with care. The meal filled me up without making me feel heavy. It calmed my nerves, warmed my belly, and gave me something rare at that hour of the day, a sense of peace. For those who think oatmeal must always be sweet, let this be a gentle invitation to try something different. Season it with a little garlic, a touch of olive oil, or even miso paste if you like. Let the grains carry the warmth of the salmon and the earthiness of the greens. Let it become a bowl of nourishment, not just sustenance. When you've lived through 7 decades, you learn that healing doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it comes in the form of a humble bowl on a quiet evening, a meal that honors your heart not just biologically, but emotionally. A meal that says, I am still taking care of myself. I am still choosing life. Let's keep going, because the next dish carries with it the comfort of tradition and the strength of one of the world's most underrated superfoods. The next meal brings me back to something old-fashioned, something our grandparents may have made without calling it heart-healthy. A pot of soup. Not the kind you pour from a can, but the kind that simmers gently on the stove, filling the house with warmth before it even touches your lips. One of the most healing, affordable, and powerful soups I've ever added to my evening routine is lentil and tomato stew. At first glance, lentils might seem plain, small, earthy, maybe even a little boring. But don't let their simplicity fool you. Lentils are a powerhouse of nutrition, especially for those of us watching our hearts, our kidneys, and our budgets all at once. They're loaded with plant-based protein, which helps maintain muscle strength as we age without overloading our digestive system or kidneys the way red meat can. For older adults, this makes lentils a safe, sustaining source of fuel, one that doesn't put extra pressure on the heart. More importantly, lentils are rich in folate, magnesium, and potassium, all nutrients your heart quietly depends on. Folate helps lower homocysteine levels in the blood, a factor linked to heart disease when left unchecked. Magnesium helps regulate heart rhythm, and potassium works to balance sodium levels, gently lowering blood pressure. This trio of nutrients works silently but consistently, meal after meal. Then comes the tomato, the heart of this stew, both in flavor and in function. Tomatoes bring with them lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that has been shown in studies to reduce the risk of heart disease. Lycopene doesn't just fight inflammation, it protects the lining of your blood vessels and helps keep cholesterol from oxidizing, which is one of the first steps toward plaque buildup in the arteries. But there's more than just science in this bowl. There's comfort. The kind that comes from sitting down with something warm and fragrant after a long day. The kind that doesn't just feed your body, but soothes your mind. When I make this stew, I often add garlic and onion for their natural compounds that lower blood pressure. A touch of olive oil rounds out the flavors, adding healthy fat that helps with absorption and adds a silken finish to every spoonful. What I love most is how adaptable this meal is. You can make a big pot and portion it out through the week. You can add carrots, celery, herbs, whatever feels nourishing. It's forgiving, affordable, and best of all, it's gentle on a tired stomach but strong in its support for your heart. And perhaps most quietly powerful of all is the ritual of it. Chopping a few vegetables, stirring a pot slowly, letting the scent rise and spread. These small acts of care, these unhurried gestures, are a kind of therapy in themselves. They remind us that we're still capable of creating something healing, something whole, even if our hands shake a little more than they used to. This stew doesn't just help clean your arteries or lower your pressure. It brings you back to yourself, to a rhythm of life that's slower, steadier, and more forgiving. And sometimes that's exactly what your heart needs most. Let's move forward, because the next dinner brings something familiar, yet smartly adapted, comfort food that supports the heart without giving up the joy of real flavor. Sometimes what we need isn't a brand new recipe or a trendy food fad. Sometimes it's simply a wiser way to enjoy what we already know and love. That's what this next dinner taught me. I've eaten rice and chicken for most of my life, but it wasn't until I made one small change, switching white rice for brown, and steaming broccoli on the side, that I began to feel the difference in my own body. This dinner is for anyone who still enjoys a hearty plate, but wants it to work with their heart, not against it. It begins with brown rice. Earthier, chewier, and far more nourishing than its white counterpart. Brown rice is rich in fiber, and that fiber acts like a gentle broom inside your system, sweeping out excess cholesterol, slowing the absorption of sugars, and helping regulate your digestion. After 70, this matters. Our metabolism slows, our blood sugar becomes more sensitive, and the foods we once tolerated can now leave us feeling sluggish, swollen, or spiked. Then comes the protein. A simple piece of pan-seared chicken breast, seasoned with garlic, herbs, and a drizzle of olive oil. No heavy sauces, no frying, just clean, honest protein. Lean chicken provides essential amino acids without the saturated fat found in red meats, which can weigh heavily on the cardiovascular system. More importantly, when cooked gently and paired with fiber-rich sides, it digests more evenly, preventing the spikes in blood pressure and fatigue that often follow greasy processed meals. But the true star of this plate, in my opinion, is the humble broccoli. Steamed, sautéed, or roasted, however you prefer it, broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable packed with compounds that protect the heart in subtle but profound ways. It contains sulforaphane, a compound known to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which are key drivers in heart disease. It also brings in vitamin K, which supports healthy blood clotting and vascular function, something many older adults unknowingly overlook. Eating this meal isn't just about nutrients, it's about how your body feels afterwards. Light but full, calm but nourished. It's the kind of dinner that doesn't pull your energy down or leave you tossing and turning at night. And for me, it became more than just food. It became a small declaration that I could still eat well, still feel satisfied, and still take care of my heart without feeling punished by the plate. There's also a rhythm to it. Rinsing the rice, trimming the chicken, steaming the broccoli. These small, repetitive acts can be grounding, even meditative. At a time in life when so much feels out of our control, when the body forgets, when the world moves too fast, this kind of quiet ritual can bring us back to ourselves. And the best part? It doesn't require fancy ingredients or hours of labor. It's affordable, forgiving, and adaptable to your needs. Don't like broccoli? Try green beans, spinach, or even asparagus. Want a bit more richness? Add sliced avocado or sprinkle in some toasted seeds. This dinner can meet you where you are, whether you're cooking for one or sharing with someone you love. It reminded me that eating well after 70 isn't about restriction, it's about wisdom. And wisdom often looks like simplicity. Let's keep going, because the next meal brings not just nutrition, but joy. A pasta dish, believe it or not, that supports your heart and delights your taste buds too. Now I know what you might be thinking. Pasta? After 70? For heart health? Yes, but not just any pasta. What I'm about to share with you is a dinner that changed the way I thought about comfort food. It reminded me that pleasure and health don't have to live in separate kitchens. You can have both. You deserve both. The meal is simple. Whole wheat pasta tossed with olive oil, canned tuna, a sprinkle of herbs, and a few roasted vegetables if you have them on hand. It takes less than 20 minutes to make, but the impact it has on your body and your spirit lasts long after the last bite. Let's start with the pasta. Whole wheat or whole grain pasta contains far more fiber than the usual white version. That fiber slows digestion, lowers blood sugar spikes, and helps remove excess cholesterol. It also keeps you full longer, so you're less likely to reach for snacks that work against your heart. But there's something else here too, the familiar feeling, the joy of a warm, twirlable plate, the aroma that fills the kitchen. That emotional nourishment is just as vital, especially at this stage in life. Then comes the tuna. I used to overlook tuna, thinking it was just a quick fix for sandwiches. But the truth is, it's one of the most affordable, accessible sources of heart-healthy omega-3s. These fats are known to reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and protect against arrhythmias that become more common with age. Tuna also provides lean protein, vitamin D, and B12, nutrients that quietly support your heart, brain, and mood. It's powerful, and it doesn't ask for much in return. And then there's the olive oil. I can't say enough about this golden liquid, especially extra virgin olive oil. Rich in polyphenols and healthy monounsaturated fats, it helps lower LDL cholesterol, reduce blood pressure, and keep blood vessels flexible. Mediterranean cultures have known this for centuries. Their elders live longer, not just because of genes, but because of habits. And olive oil is one of those sacred daily habits. I like to add in some roasted cherry tomatoes, spinach, or even a bit of zucchini when I can. These small additions add bursts of color, texture, and more antioxidants to the mix. But even without them, this dish feels whole, complete, satisfying in a way that goes beyond nutrition. The best part? This dinner respects your energy. You don't need to stand on your feet for an hour. You don't need to follow a complicated recipe. You just boil, drain, toss, and serve. It's a meal you can make on your own terms, even if your hands aren't as steady or your appetite isn't as strong as it used to be. And as you sit down to eat it, you might feel something you haven't in a while, a quiet kind of joy. The joy of knowing you're feeding your body what it needs without giving up what you love. The joy of taking back your kitchen, your plate, and your power, one bite at a time. Let's move to the final dish now, one that's light, beautiful, and surprisingly filling. A meal that feels like a whisper of health at the end of the day, rather than a lecture. Something warm, simple, and full of heart. There's something special about ending the day with a meal that doesn't weigh you down. A dinner that feels like a soft landing, not a heavy load. That's exactly what this final dish offers. A warm salad of roasted beets, soft-boiled egg, crunchy walnuts, and a gentle drizzle of olive oil and lemon. It sounds simple, and it is. But in that simplicity lies quiet strength. Let's start with the beets. These vibrant root vegetables are more than just color on the plate. They contain natural nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and improve blood flow. For those of us in our 70s or beyond, this is gold. Good circulation means less pressure on the heart, fewer headaches, and more energy throughout the day. Roasted until tender, beets bring a gentle sweetness that balances the richness of the egg and the nuttiness of the walnuts. Then there's the egg. Often misunderstood, eggs, when eaten in moderation, can be a friend to your heart, not a threat. Especially the yolk, which contains choline, vitamin D, and healthy fats that support cell function and brain health. I like to soft-boil mine so that the yolk is still a bit creamy. It blends beautifully with the greens, creating a natural dressing when paired with olive oil and lemon. Now let's talk about the walnuts. These little gems are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, just like salmon and flaxseed. But beyond their heart-protective fats, walnuts add texture, crunch, and a satisfying sense of richness that turns a salad into a full meal. They've been shown in numerous studies to lower LDL cholesterol and reduce inflammation, two things our hearts are quietly begging for after decades of effort. What makes this meal so healing isn't just its ingredients, it's the way it invites slowness. You don't scarf down a warm salad. You pause. You taste. You notice how the sweetness of the beet plays against the tang of lemon, how the soft egg contrasts the crunch of the nut. You become present. And being present, especially at this stage of life, is a form of medicine in itself. It's also incredibly easy to prepare. Roast a batch of beets once a week and keep them in the fridge. Boil a few eggs and peel them ahead of time. When dinner comes, all you have to do is assemble. No stress, no long list of instructions. Just thoughtful, nourishing layers that build a sense of care, not just for your heart, but for your spirit. And for those who live alone, this dish offers something quietly meaningful. A reminder that even when no one else is around the table, your body is still worth feeding with intention. That you can still create something beautiful for yourself. That care doesn't require an audience. This final dinner isn't loud. It won't wow a crowd, but it will speak softly to your arteries, to your nervous system, and to that part of you that just wants peace on your plate and in your chest. Now that we've gone through all 5 meals, let's take a moment to step back, breathe, and reflect on what it really means to eat for your heart after 70. Not just with knowledge, but with compassion. When I look back at the meals we've shared in this video, simple oats with salmon, lentil stew, brown rice and chicken, heart-smart pasta, and a warm beet salad, I realized something important: extravagant. None of them required a chef's skill or a long grocery list. And yet, each one has the power to protect the heart in a quiet, lasting way. Because the truth is, after 70, taking care of your heart is no longer just about numbers on a chart. It's about daily acts of self-respect. It's about choosing meals that don't just fill you, but heal you. It's about allowing food to become what it always should have been, not a battle, but a blessing. And maybe even more than the nutrients, it's the intention that matters most. When you cook yourself something warm, colorful, and kind, you are saying to your own body, I still care, I still matter, I still choose life. So if you're watching this and thinking, I've let myself go, or it's too late for me to change, I want to tell you gently, you're wrong. It's never too late to nourish yourself. Never too late to bring a little more peace to your heart. Whether it starts with a bowl of lentils or a drizzle of olive oil, the act of choosing yourself again and again is where real health begins. If any of these dinners spoke to you, if even just one felt possible, doable, or even comforting, leave a comment below and let us know. Which one would you try first? Or is there a simple meal of your own that always makes you feel better? Share it. Your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs tonight. And if this video reminded you of how strong and gentle you still are, even now, then please subscribe to Golden Pathways. This channel is for you, for those who still want to grow, heal, and live fully, no matter your age. Because at 70, at 80, at 90, you are not done. You are becoming. Still?